out of everyone who's picked it, I think Rebel has picked it the most. So you got to think they favor it a lot. And to me, you have to come out hot against a team like Fire and Ice, because it doesn't matter if they're down 100 points. Dyslexic is going to do almost anything he wants at a moment's notice.
Well, we are off to the races once again. Fire and Ice versus Rebel starting off here on Reactor. On control, and early on a down coming through for both teams, but no kills getting cleaned up just yet. Trades coming through here in this first hill. Crack trying to roadie strafe around is going to get taken out by Xploidz. He's down. Xploidz now is going to bounce over, get the kill, settle up inside the hill momentarily. We still don't really have a solidified initial winner, but there's the nades in hand, and it looks like Fire and Ice are going to try to come away with the majority of the points here in this first hill. But on the opposite side of the map, Demon gets a kill and a torque to show off for it. Now they have to worry about the extra rotation. Dyslexic tries to hop the cover. He doesn't get the drop either. That second shot, oh so close. Gave him a little bit of a haircut, but I mean, the up A was true and strong. But right now, this is pretty stacked up evenly. They're going to get most of these last points if they can get that last kill out of the hill and try to even it up as much as possible.
Yep, if you take a look at your mini-map, even though there's 18 seconds left, next hill is going to be the top right corner of your mini-map. That's going to be where Crack is already set up. You see Demon trying to get that positioning. Xploidz trying to rotate all the way across. And honestly, if they kind of pick somebody up here, get it down, figure out a way to get an elimination, that could be crucial. A revive coming through just in the nick of time. And there goes Demon trying to rev up that torque bow, catches somebody slipping, catches somebody getting a little bit over aggressive. And there goes the pick onto Xploidz. That's going to be a little bit of a window of an opportunity, a glimmer of hope. But there goes Dyslexic yet again. I would say being a thorn in the side, but that misroll costing him his life, giving up the hill and the early points on over to Crack and Rebel. And I need to see them kind of solidify it, but I will say right now, it's going to be a little slow up until Fire and Ice tries to make a push from spawn to spawn.
And now it looks like with Rebel leaving one person in the hill, the other three set up wide to try to get any Lancer angles on. They're continuing to mark players out. Toti has to find a way through this back cubby corner, but he's going to continue to be pressured up on. I like this, though. Rebel gets the call out that they've split now 2-2, so Rebel's going to split themselves 2-2. They just need to find one down or kill. Xploidz almost gets caught trying to up A right there, but Fearzly with a big kill on Kardia. That opens things up for a neutralization. This is the secondary team fight. It looks like Fire and Ice is coming away with the majority of these kills.
I'm about to say almost one more, but both Fearzly and Xploidz get taken down at almost the wrong time there. 27 seconds left on the clock. That's not too alarming. Not much too concerned for Fire and Ice here as they're going to pick up that elimination onto Fearzly and bleed the hill dry as the rest of the members are going to try to rotate around. First to the punch is going to be Toti as he's trying to set up defense there on the bottom half of the map. That's going to be a bottom left-hand corner. And here comes Xploidz and Dyslexic. They know how important it is to really solidify and kind of nail down your positioning here. Xploidz almost getting a little bit too aggressive. He goes down. I don't think a revive is going to come through just yet. Frag grenade from the side. So it's going to be even up at 3 apiece. And this is where you got to take that back corner. Demon needs to go with the rest of his team, but he gets spawned behind, giving up the spawn to Xploidz. And this is going to be something. If they can play their cards right, Fire and Ice can pick up some eliminations and gain an extra footing.
Oh! Beautiful shot by Demon right there. Will pick off one player. Now Demon trying to rotate toward that 90 degree of the hill. Barely misses Fearzly. He might have gotten some splash damage on both his teammate and Fearzly and is not able to help finish off the kill. So Fire and Ice, they come away with the early goings of this next hill. They're going to set up here. I want to see how they spread across the map. They're actually going to just go 3 deep, set up a wall inside of the hill, wait for these 3 players from Rebel. All 4 players now on that side of the map. Demon over here throws his flash deep. Here comes the smoke and the flashback, and it's a frag in the area, but it won't find any kills. Just one down on it, Fearzly. Now the Lancer Fire will get the down onto Toti, and they're going to pressure them down toward the bottom of the hill. Outside as well. Those 2 players just waiting for either player to up A. They're not going to give up the easy kill to either of them. Dyslexic is going to be left down to crawl around and think about his decisions. Another team fight won by Rebel here, and that's going to give them that point lead here in just a few moments to try to get these last few seconds in this hill, try to bleed it dry as much as humanly possible before rotating over to the next.
It's going to be, I do believe, a neutral hill positioning. And this is where it's kind of hard to get a footing because everybody's going to be coming through the spawn left and right each side. It's going to take you a little bit of a rotation to get through, but already you can see where everybody's kind of inching where they want to set up at. It's going to be Fire and Ice who do have that early control towards the top middle. They're rotating some members over, but Toti gets caught out of position, and now they have that man advantage. They can easily try to angle out Fearzly, find another elimination, continue to stagger the death. That down's going to be picked up. Now they have a 4v2, and this should look here to continue to stagger out these deaths as they want to take control of the match. If you allow Fire and Ice to spawn back up, they already are going to get a sandwich in terms of positioning. One down coming through. A headshot from Identivez to take out Dyslexic. It does come down to a 2v2 here, or I should say a 3v2, as they're still going to hold that positioning in towards the top middle, but Fearzly catches Identivez slipping, goes for two, back-to-back, takes out Crack as well, and this is what Fire and Ice needs. A little bit of shake and bake to get that momentum on their side.
That is a picture-perfect double kill by Fearzly, rotating in, getting those extra kills. Fire and Ice with the kills. Now they solidify the hill for a few points, trying to get this back to be tied up. Beautiful job. They're going to get these marks out. Crack coming from the bottom, throws the smoke, but has been marked out. And you know as well as I do, that mark lasts probably 3 to 4 seconds, and you are highlighted through smoke, through God, through everything possible. They're going to lancer him out, take him down, and they're going to start rotating over to the other side of the map, waiting for this next hill to spawn because it started in the top right. It now goes probably down to the bottom left.
It's going to be at the bottom right now where you can kind of see where Fire and Ice do have the advantage. They just need to hold on towards their advantage. They're going to have that high ground as well when the players rotating in, but they need to make sure, like I said, stay alive. Frag grenades are going to be crucial here for Identivez. He needs to make sure these are effective as possible, even if that means slowing down, wasting a couple of seconds to backtrack while you get yourself in a position to throw the perfect frag. 75 seconds on this hill when it does pop, so an opportune time here to gain more of a lead than you already have, and at least not give it up. 2 frag grenades towards the backside, targeting out Fearzly. Last one's going to connect. They have the man advantage, but they're going to have to fight from the low ground. It's going to be a bait and switch between Identivez and Demon, but that's not going to work. Identivez goes down. They're trading revives, and there goes the last clap. The king of Latin America, Identivez, gets a double kill. They're going to hold on to this hill, but they don't have that spawn point towards the top. So Fire and Ice are still in it. They can retake this hill at a moment's notice.
That's a great retake so far for Rebel. You see Toti now with that top elevated position, pulling out the Nasher. He's going to move up. He doesn't have the Lancer out. He's not pushing into the area just yet with any kind of, oh, there's the stub fire. Beautiful job and a quick retake from Fire and Ice. They're picking up a few kills. Identivez and Crack, though, playing up the same stairwell. Get another set of kills with their name. Xploidz last alive. He is, though, playing around the backside of this hill. 2 shots onto Identivez. Full red. Goes down. Might be dead, but now Crack has to turn. Try to burn. He's not going to get that to go. Xploidz is going to get revived by Dyslexic. And it looks like no matter how good Kardia was, he wasn't fast enough to stop the revive. And he couldn't solidify both of those kills. 13 seconds left on this hill. Could get Fire and Ice to tie this thing up, but I don't think they're going to stay in the area just that long.
At least I hope not. They got to get to rotating in the top half of the map. They do have some teammates that are going to be there first, but it's a 3v2 opportunity for Rebel. I know they don't get the X-ray cam like we do, but they need to take advantage of this before it's too late. They are getting sandwiched. An up A from Dyslexic. The catch Identivez off guard. He goes down, but so does Fearzly and Dyslexic. So it's not without sacrifice. They still have control of the hill on the side of Rebel. They're going to get the torque boat as well, but they need to continue to fight back against that spawn point. Identivez towards the backside. That's going to be a thorn in the side. That battle in the spawn is going to be crucial in order for Rebel to kind of hold this one on uncontested. A nice pick indeed. Calling it. Dyslexic does go down. A backplane coming through. Toti and Fearzly are going to be able to find a way to make it happen. Xploidz goes down, but just a sacrifice for the greater good. A back A from Identivez. Make that 2 as he gets another double kill as the king of Latin America proves why he is who he is.
Fun fact for you, PR, and for all our viewers at home, that is the first time either of these teams has won a back-to-back team fight in this game. And that is only really represented by the fact that Rebel is now joining up a 40-point lead or so. Here comes the flashes, here comes the push and the flash and dash. They're going to try to get a few of these kills early, playing down the stairwell. Crack just with Lancer out, trying to stop anybody from pushing in. That shot was a little too far to the right. With 20 points to go, they can give up the rest of this, get it to 190 to 170 or so. But I love the Lancer fire, the teamwork out of Fire and Ice right now, just a little bit too much. Crack, though, waiting in the wings, picks up a kill there onto Dyslexic. Good job, great job, fantastic job. Mid-neutral hill now goes back to the original spawn point, and Crack will be just trying to call out where the rotations are and where the respawns are. We are about to find ourselves in the heat of another big team fight.
I will say the upper hand right now does go to Crack. He has that top positioning, but he did get a little damage put on him from Fearzly. He's forced to back up, but he has some help. As you see Demon using a frag grenade, trying to keep them out of the hill. They're going to be the first team to 200. Less than 100 to go. Torquebo from Identivez railing off yet again. There he goes for number 2. A little bit of splash damage, almost getting a little of the splash damage. A second one threading the needle. Toti just making him second guess, but Toti actually gets taken out by a frag grenade. That's going to make Rebels hold here that much stronger as they continue to stagger out to death. Fearzly gets taken out. Toti immediately spawns up, but he's spotted out, so a chance here for Toti to go back on to respawn. Big damage being fired out. Another one towards the backside, so that hopefully Kardia is relaying this information over, so Demon and Crack, after picking up those eliminations, they know exactly where to position themselves.
And you see Fearzly over here caught out on the island. All 4 of them spawn in this direction. They spawn closer to the next hill, which is good for them. The bad news, Bears, is that 20 more seconds gets Rebel to 260, 270 to just 170. That is a 100-point differential, and that puts you in no man's land. That puts you almost in the dead zone where it's impossible to come back, and there's a shock over the top. Will catch that player down low. Rolling in, Xploidz misses the first shot, and a beautiful second shot out by Demon to get that kill. Now they're pressuring in from the opposite side, bouncing down and around toward Crack. They're going to get some downs. They're going to probably get these kills. They need to figure out how to mount up these kills, though, quickly before Fire Ice can get into the area. But Dyslexic, he said, not if I got anything to do about it, big boy. I've got to solidify this hill. We've got to win this fight. They are going to roar back into this the longer they hoard all into this hill.
He hopped them, he bopped them, and he stopped them. Demon with the frag grenades. They need to stay alive in this spawn. They can't continue to get their death staggered. They got to let Demon go to work. Kardia does go down to the spawn. 2 frag grenades going out. 1 to connect on the Dyslexic. They didn't lose anybody just yet. Chain revives coming through. This is Rebels' chance here. I wouldn't say to close this one out because by the time they touch the hill, it's not going to be winnable for them, but it's going to be for them their chances to get damn close as Dyslexic gets the spawn point on the backside. He's already doing damage. 1 player does go down. Make that 2 as Crack gets eliminated. Nobody from Fire and Ice being cleaned up just yet, but I might have spoke too soon. A trade coming through. 2 more Rebel members fall as Fire and Ice are doing everything in their power to keep this one as close as possible and try to tie it up as soon as possible.
Is this one of those situations where you over-rotate if you're Rebel? Do you just go to the next hill and say, we're going to have to fight them and play defense a little bit? They're going to try to fight over this torque. Shock is picked up by Kardia in the middle of the map. You can see the Lancer fire over the top, trying to keep Toti's head down. Shock out will be in the back cubby corner. Nobody can go there just yet. Here comes a flash. All 4 players of Fire and Ice mounted up across this little hallway. All 4 of them spread out just a little bit like mayonnaise on a sandwich. But there's the next hill being spawned up. They know where the cap should have to come through at. Fearzly's gonna get tagged up full red. Xploidz, Dyslexic, each and every one of them. They gotta know that all 3 players are coming like a freight train down this aisle, down this alleyway. Demon trying his hardest to find 1 kill. Won't be able to find it just yet. Now they're gonna call out Kardia. They're gonna clean him up. Fearzly gets a 1v1 on the opposite side. Rebels spreads themselves thin, hoping to cash in on individual talent. But Fire and Ice said teamwork makes the dream work.
You said it perfect yourself. They spread themselves thin. They went for the torque bow instead of the positioning onto the hill. A player already getting staggered out. No torque bows able to connect out of his quiver just yet. And there's going to be the last one. A dud. Not able to connect with a big elimination. Toti has the frag grenades as well. This could be a turning point in this match for Fire and Ice. Xploidz finds the elimination on the Crack. A frag grenade creating separation between Fire and Ice, Rebel, and this hill as they now have tied the game up. Less than 30 seconds remain. This hill is not winnable for either one of these teams, but both of them are fighting. They want to inch themselves as close as possible. Demon with a quick up A. Trades from both of these teams. Nobody getting the upper hand just yet. Demon doing everything he can. This hill is going to remain contested thanks to Demon and Toti. This one's coming down to the very wire.
They give up those last few seconds. You see Toti trying to go for the over-rotation early. He's going to call out Crack. Beautiful mark on him. That hill is going to spawn next in that mid-neutral position in the middle of the map. You got to get up into this positioning. Try to take over the elevation. They see Xploidz full red. Hasn't gone down. There's a shock to try to block off 1 lane. But the up A from Demon comes through. Dyslexic is going to get rotated on. But the extra Lancer fire once again. The teamwork. Too much from Fire and Ice. They have now officially won back-to-back-to-back hills and have played defense on 2 out of the 3 of them. Dyslexic has to get a kill here to try to knot things up, to try to make life very hard. He's got 2 two in front of them. They're falling on the opposite side of the map. Rebel trying to break into this hill. It's 281 to 274. 7-point differential, ladies and gentlemen. Rebel coming through big. They're trying to end this right here, right now. You see the flash. You see the dash. Fearzly gets sat down on his booty. And we see the torque mode go to Identivez.
Could be big. Identivez has a chance. He just needs that very minimum splash damage to deny these players, but he gets a connection onto Toti. Dyslexic goes down. That's going to be 2 for Identivez. 4 seconds left. There goes Xploidz. Fearzly all by himself. He's able to take out one, but there he goes. He gets eliminated, and Rebel are able to take map number 1 away from Fire and Ice and go up 1 in the series.
My goodness gracious, good God almighty. What a fantastic first map. Comes down to the last hill, comes down to a few final rotations out of both teams. Fire and Ice fought back as hard and as valiantly as possible. But it will not be on this day. Rebel, they win map number 1. They do not want to go down in this situation. This is self-cannibalization for Latin America. They know that whoever wins this is going to take the chances of a LatAm champion that much further back, set them back now. We've already seen E United exit, and think about this. Rebel, Fire and Ice, Pittsburgh Knights, all 3 of them in the top half of our standings after Pro League. Whoever loses this, we're losing in the second place team or the 4th place team. We're losing 2 or 4 in this situation off of this map, off of this match alone. My favorite statistic for you, though, if you want to know why that control game was so very close, Jacob, Big Team Fights goes to the judges' card. I gave it 8-8. They each won either a defensive stand or an offensive retake 8 times with 3 or 4 players involved. I'm not counting the little 1v1s around the map. I'm talking big team fights with money on the line when it matters most. They knotted up 8-8. So that just strictly came down to little team fights. That's what 26 points out of 300 will net you across a map with those little extra kills that you sprinkle in.
Yeah, that's a little alarming. And you got to think, some of those fights were kind of won because of the power weapon usage from Rebel, whether it was a frag grenade or Identivez getting multi-kills with those torque bows to really turn the tides. Even if it wasn't a team fight, he was denying the opportunity for a team fight to allow his team to get that extra cushion with those points. And I said it before this match started, for Rebel to win this series, they're going to have to come out hot. They're going to have to really shut down any momentum that Fire and Ice has been able to build up until this point. Both of these teams have very, very big wins under their belt, but they also have some early losses that nobody expected. So this is where you're forced to bounce back. Fire and Ice, they did feel that pressure early on. They did go and give up a couple of early points, but overall, I think they did a good job of climbing back into this one.
I'm going to go ahead and say, I think the MVP for Rebel in that first map was the torque bow. Like, as good as all those players played, I think they had the torque probably 4 or 5 times throughout that match, and they got maybe 1 or 2 kills. They only, I think, had 1 torque that really was a dud, and there was that next to last one, that next to last hill we saw where he shot out 3 or 4 bolts trying to get splash damage to try to set somebody down and never got anything to come through. Outside of that, I really think Rebel made great work of the torque bow the entire time. The power weapon was used to perfection for them.
No, it definitely was. Like I said, the effectiveness. That's one thing you really need to take note on when your back's up against the wall. We even said it. With those frag grenades, it was, I do believe, a Demon at one point, Dyslexic at one point. And you even kind of look out through it with the course of these replays. Every single one of those big torque bow plays was somebody from Rebel, particularly Identivez. So anybody out there saying Identivez is washed, Identivez is this, guess what? Identivez is in the replay package, winning a Rebel that match, going up 1-0 against Fire and Ice. This is how you build momentum, but you have to be able to consistently take these battles. You have to consistently put yourself in the position to win these plays. Check out execution. It's a little bit more aggressive. You're not going to have a time to breathe. You're not going to have too much time other than between those rounds to make the adjustments.
The only thing on Identivez right now that is washed is probably them friggin' beautiful shirts that man is always sporting in that brand new Rebel jersey that I'm sure he got sent. I'm sure wherever that man is playing, he's sporting that beautiful, I believe it was a Champion crossover. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Rebel and Champion doing a crossover for those new jerseys. So that's the only thing on Identivez that's washed right now. Anybody that says that, I mean, you know how it is. You know Twitch chat. It don't matter if you the best or the worst. You're terrible. You're always terrible. You're never not going to be terrible. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, you're bad, you're worthless, you're the worst thing since not sliced bread. Because you know how everybody says the best thing since sliced bread? Like, does that just make you the worst as if you were the worst thing since not sliced bread? Because apparently everything sucked before bread was sliced. I'm just throwing that out.
I mean, I feel like I have to agree with it because bread is literally one of the most underrated and greatest things in the world. And to me, it just sucks that it's so filled with carbs because then, you know, everybody in the world would eat it. Even if you're on a diet, you just go to bread. It's donuts, it's pastries, it's croutons in your salad. It's basically all of it. It's all of it and the deliciousness. And guess what? It's that bread these people are fighting for.
Man, now I want a donut. Should have never said donut. You could have said anything. I'd have been like croutons, bread,
Donut?
Your word? We talking donuts?
Right.
I'm gonna have to get one now. Now I know that my morning routine is going to involve a drive to what's your donuts? What's your favorite donuts? I don't want to say favorite because that means you might go specialized. If you had to generically pick a donut spot, where's your donut spot? You going Dunkin'? You a Dunkin' man? Krispy Kreme?
I would have to say I don't like Krispy Kreme too much. I think they're just too mass produced and generic.
Oh, my man coming out
too mass produced and generic.
What are you, a hipster?
I feel like every donut, no matter if it's a chocolate one with sprinkles, they're all the same. They're literally the same donut.
I think I can tell you you wrong for that. As a fat man, you wrong for that.
Oh man, what's your donuts?
Favorite donut in history, probably Boston Creamer. Big old Boston Creamer, baby. I love them things. Also, I'm going to get real country on you. We got a thing down here. It's called fried Oreos. And you actually take an Oreo and you fry it in batter like it was a crispy, like it was a glazed donut. And then you glaze that thing.
I just remember.
I don't know. The voice of God said maple long john. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's something from Minnesota or Canada.
That'd be maple bacon.
It's from Minnesota, there, but what just got said to me?
I have to Google that and get even hungrier. I might have to look up the recipe.
I'm going to be right back.
To figure out how to do it on us.
You got to do this map by yourself, buddy. You got to do this map by yourself.
It's going to be a quick map because no matter who wins this, even if this does go to a round number 11, we don't know how this map plays. It's very, very aggressive. It gets very, very in your face. A lot of these rounds don't even go past 30 seconds before some of these players do get eliminated, before they're in a disadvantage and they get kind of swarmed. So coming into this one, how aggressive Rebel was, and I know Colin's not here listening for you guys at home, for how aggressive Rebel was, they're going to have to continue that aggression into checkout. They can't get intimidated. Fire and Ice, I'm not going to let it go through easy. They're going to try to bang out with some flashes, with some Oaks, get some early kills with Dyslexic, but after that map number 1 victory, you need to continue to build onto that momentum. And Colin, you didn't even hear a single word, but you're going to agree.
Well, they don't even have that in the Hell's Kitchen recipe book, so I have no idea still what a maple long bottom is. Maple long john, long bottom, long fellow, long nose, big nose. Jacob, I ain't never heard somebody been more right in my entire life than what I just heard you say. I'm just gonna throw that out there. You are the most correct human I could possibly imagine at this point. Like, there's the guy that, like, Newton was out here, like, gravity and the apple fell out of the tree, so there's got to be a 4. And you just blew that out the water. Whatever you said was more truth than that.
I thank you. I thank you. I also said I was going to take the predictions challenge against Reflections, but one of the biggest things, even though I did predict Fire and Ice to take this matchup overall, I haven't seen too much of his predictions. I wanted it to be a surprise, but just the way he talks about Fire and Ice, I feel like his predictions really rely on Fire and Ice. And so I kind of on the fence right now. I want to take that trophy away from him. You know how bad I want to take that trophy away from him. So I'm just, I'm on the fence here.
On the fence for not for long, though, as we go to checkout. Rebel and Fire and Ice. Rebel looking to take a 2-0 lead here early in this one. Nobody down or dead just yet. A lot of shots being fired, though. A few players getting close to going down, but nobody falling to the wayside just yet. Identivez is trying to make sure nobody gets to over-rotate. It looks like Dyslexic catches Demon slipping, trying to hop over the cover. Beautiful ice-breaking kill there. Now it's a 4v3.
Cracked and splashed. Identivez gets taken out. He's trying to escape, get out alive. He needed to land that shot. 2 opportunities, 0 for 2. And there goes Fire and Ice, winning round number 1, 45 seconds. A lot of these, like I said, are going to go under a minute. But Colin, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. You see, you put me in a trap. You made me think you made me say Krispy Kreme was too generic. See, I don't like any of the main chains. I'm gonna go ahead and say now I don't like any
You're
main
a
chains.
hipster. We get it.
You go
okay?
to your local donut shop. That's where the best donuts are at.
Capitalism. What? Round number 2. Fire and Ice win a beautiful round 1 after Demon gets killed off trying to hop that cover. Toti with a lot of Lancer Fire out here. They're going to catch one person down. That's going to be Identivez. He's going to have to go back and try to pick up Kardia, but the incendiary grenades will end that dream very quickly. Fire and Ice has won 2 straight rounds and are well on their way to tying this up.
2 in a row, 45 and 25, about a minute and 10 between these first 2 rounds. Pretty quick and decisive on the side of Fire and Ice. Rebel's gonna have to really switch something up. They probably have to maybe bounce a flash offside that plat, maybe bounce a flash in towards the middle to really stop and slow down the team of Fire and Ice, who's wasting no time attacking, particularly Xploidz. 5 and 2. A big part of why Rebel up until this point is killless, but you can kind of see the 3v3 going down. Rebel doing what they can. Lancer Fire to start this one off, try to slow down the offense of Fire and Ice. This is where they do first. They get into their position. You see Crack and another member of his team in towards the alleyway. Identivez goes in by himself, trying to pick up those incendiary grenades. He does go down early on, but Kardia, being the hero they need, not only getting that elimination, getting the revive onto Identivez, so the Instants are back in action, back into play.
Toti trying to play this back cover. Long shots over the top with an Asher. Gets missed by the incendiary. Crack will pick up the long shot right in his face. Now he can't pop his head. Beautiful body shot there by Crack will help try to settle down one player from Fire and Ice. Crack still rotating around. You see Fire and Ice trying to wolf pack into this. They get 2 kills. Rebel now has a 3rd down. Fire and Ice roars back. They make it a 3v1. Craig gets the sniper, but no headshots come through. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is not... Hey, domain. Them things are destructible, brother.
This is just hard to watch. After such a good map number 1, especially, you know, with the power weapon performance coming through, they're just falling flat as they try to switch things up, like I said, to try to slow down the offense coming through of Fire and Ice. But I think the mistake was sending 2 players towards the back lane to kind of even things out. They had the early man advantage, they had the first blood, but they toss it away again. And Colin, thanks to you, all those beautiful statistics, the scorecard, that's been the story of the battle. Rebel against Vanquish, tossing away many first blood opportunities, and yet again against Fire and Ice here. They need to figure out a way to run a tighter ship.
Well, now we see everybody's still alive. Nobody even able to take this early positioning. Identivez is going to hop up onto the platform, go to pick those incendiaries. He's going to get taken down. Beautiful L triggers out by Fearzly. Fearzly gets a little overconfident, though, presses up. So it is tied up now, even though Fire and Ice did win the initial. They get that first blood kill, but now 2 players from Rebel are down. It's a 3v2 official. Kardia and Crack, though, might get caught here between a rock and a hard place as they are stuck in the same lane of the checkout aisle, and it looks like they're going to try to send them both on a head-down mission toward this backside of the map. Beautiful kills being traded out, 2v1 in the area, but there goes Kardia. That'll be the end of the round. That's 4-0 for Fire and Ice.
Yeah, I love how these 2 players kind of held the back lane. They didn't overextend. They didn't back out and give up the positioning because they realized that Dyslexic is, instead of kind of trying to throw frags all the way from downtown, he didn't waste any time. He went towards the backside, pulled out his Lancer, and made them as uncomfortable as possible and forced them into that exchange. And the 2 players waiting to put those big shots with the shotguns, damage with the Lancer. So now it comes down to this. Fire and Ice have a commanding 4-0 lead. If you go up 5-0, you better count them out. Move on to map number 3, Vascar Escalation. If you guys missed the top of the show, or at least the top of the matchup, but Dyslexic, once again, being the difference maker, gets the grenades first, but he goes down, and he even gave up a frag grenade if he knows it's there.
No, I think he suicided with the other one. I think he pulled the pin on the other one before when he went down. Threw the first, pulled the pin on the second when he realized he wasn't going to get that kill. Now you see Fearzly trying to make a miracle happen. He's not going to get anything. That's a beautiful round by Rebel to really force Fire and Ice out of their comfort zone, out of positioning. Fire and Ice has been able to kind of stack up, Lancer out, and get a lot of early damage and even a couple of downs in these rounds, making life almost impossible for them to live there.
Damn. You see Demon, look at the positioning a lot of these players are going, Dyslexic and Demon particularly, how they're taking that mid route. they're getting a lot of information, hiding a lot of information by going towards the top half of the map. You don't know exactly how many's there. You know the 3 players there. You can almost flank at a moment's notice if you're on different pages. And look at the angle from that wing as well. Identivez making sure everybody is being checked. Nobody gets anything for free, but that's going to be a crucial flash grenade. Xploidz gets in for free, gets those incendiary grenades. As long as they can stay alive, not get eliminated too early, that's going to put them with a massive advantage, as now nobody really has much utility.
Nobody has a lot of utility, and so it's going to stack up. It's going to stalemate out for just a little bit. As we see the Lancer start to try to ring true and ring through, Toti will pick up the snipe. He needs to find a body shot, maybe a headshot here. We saw last 2 rounds ago when Crack picked it up. He didn't get any kills with it, and that really didn't make a hell of beans of difference. Trying to get the headshot there on Kardia. Kardia doesn't fall for it. You see Fire and Ice now rotating into the back of the checkout. Beautiful job by them. They get Toti with a sniper. Toti takes over the right-hand side of the map, so they can't continue to rotate over there. They go to the back side of the checkout. They get flooded, and that is all over but the crying.
It seems right now that Fire and Ice have a better understanding of the big picture, how to play checkout. They're one of the more aggressive teams. They slow it down just a little bit, but Xploidz saving that utility towards the very last moment, making his job a little easier to hop in, get those instants, and as soon as he was able to get out for free, Rebel felt that pressure. Coming into this one. Go ahead.
I was going to say, now you see the extra flash coming out. I thought Crack might actually just go for it, but he gives it up. He hesitates, rotates back. Kardia was down to 3% health. Now an extra smoke comes through. Fire and Ice trying to throw their utilities out. One incendiary comes out but doesn't come through for him. This long range, oh, beautiful smoke. I think he just saved somebody's life. Somebody better be thanking whoever threw that smoke. I think it was Fearzly.
This is what I'm talking about, though. Once you're in this positioning, you need to learn the perfect throw. And I think Lava was a perfect example in Ultimate Edition. I'll break that down in just a moment. Identivez gets taken out. Crack falls. Kardia is out of it as well. Demon, the last one alive. Fire and Ice. More fire than ice. They take it 6-1 in dominating fashion. Wasn't even close. Not even by a mile.
2-0 lead for Fire and Ice over, or 1-1, excuse me. It's tied up now. Rebel wins control. Fire and Ice wins execution. We go to Escalation now. Map number 3. Somebody's going to take the lead in this matchup going into the second half of this series. We'll find out who it is right after this. All tied up 1-1. Rebel, Fire and Ice. A great map number 2 for Fire and Ice. They roar back into this one. And they tie the series going into Escalation. And Jacob, you wanted to shout out Lava from Gears Ultimate Edition, the time he took to learn a little something special. If you want to treat all the viewers at home to a little bit of intel, go right ahead, brother.
Well, I mean, with the amount of time, even in Escalation, sometimes in Control, and you can even see it there, even though Checkout's one of the faster maps where you're just kind of stalemated. You're forced to throw the perfect frag, ensign, or even a flash grenade. There was a spot on War Machine. I particularly learned it from Lava. I don't know who he learned it from. Maybe he created it. Between the 2 sandbags where you would typically see in competitive matches that player kind of sitting back, there's a spot where you just blind throw that grenade directly into the sky and it would land perfectly on the other side between the 2 sandbags. So if they were camping back, if they were playing a little passive, you could take advantage, throw the quick blind throw grenade, run up, and then really trying to pinpoint whether you're going to try to eliminate or get it down onto that particular player or try to focus that guy onto window. But the point is, it's surprising to see, especially, you know, that play that I'm pointing out on the corner where the flash was out, and the smoke was out, clouding him. You should be able to blind throw that over and really kind of get where you wanted to, or at least kind of aim it over. There are certain spots when things slow down. It's not hard to take that extra second or two. I know a lot of teams do it on this map in particular.
Well, real quick, as we get thrown into this dyslexic, man. Come on now. I said real quick. I didn't mean for you to kill 2 people.
Oh, my bad. He said, let me take that back.
Real quick, as we get into this, Rebel is on a very bad path because in that map number 2, Fire and Ice won 5 of the 7 First Bloods. They converted all 5 of those rounds for 100% conversion rate on First Bloods. The 2 out of the 7 First Bloods that Rebel won, they only converted on 1 of them. That continues the same motion where Rebel, if they do not win an initial, are struggling greatly to come back into rounds.
And that's looking terrifying because Honestly, even though we make the jokes, the cliche, teamwork makes the dream work, you got to win these team fights. These big team fights really decide how much pressure you're being put on, how desperate you need to play the remainder of this one. And that's where you can kind of see the pressure being put onto Rebel to at least get the decap to come through. Kardia gets eliminated. Identivez gets taken down early. Demon forced to be the hero, forced into a bad spot. Triple cap domination. Now it's all up to Crack. He needs to keep this one decapped, and how far it's going to work out for him. And even trade coming through. That's going to buy his team some time. A quick rotation from Kardia. You might have chose the wrong hill. As you see a denial opportunity coming through. Fearzly just not letting him, but it took too long. They bought enough time on the home hill. That's Identivez and Kardia to where he was able to not only get the elimination, but break both of these hills simultaneously.
That's a great job. Toti's going to be up top. He's going to try to challenge the 1v1 over here at the B hill, but now it's going to be a 2v1 here momentarily because it looks like Demon is rotating over. They're looking to flip this on their head, get a triple cap domination. Nobody's in the area to step into the hill just yet. Beautiful first touch there as they run straight back into it. Fearzly will get the first touch. They get the kills. They need one more over here. Identivez goes for the up, but he gets taken down. Now they're going to worry about Demon rotating over from the B hill. They get the down on him. They're going to try to get a second. He goes down again. One more will get the kill. They still have to get a decap, though. They maybe have to get one more recap on a B or maybe a home hill to try to get this win condition back in their favor because now it is flipped over to Rebel. Good little retake by them in the round. Will it be too little, too late?
Well, he died there. It looked like he just passed out from the hot sun that Vegas is experiencing right now. But Fire and Ice over 200 plus points. Less than 20 seconds remain if these hills don't get decapped. A lot of pre-fire coming out. And that is very, very crucial right now for Fire and Ice success. Dish out as much pre-fire as possible. Make their journey to that hill just as hard as their actual fight into the hill. Identivez gets taken down early. Xploidz goes down. But I think Crack dying here is going to be the biggest one of them all. Is the flank coming through? Demon trying to be the hero. He doesn't get the decap, and that is going to be it. Kardia gets eliminated, but it was over before that one. Fire and Ice building off of that momentum, that 6-1 victory in map number 2 execution checkout. They win the first one on the board here.
That's a great first round for Fire and Ice. Rebel, though, that does give them a good boost of confidence, I think, going forward in this, because that's the first time they really had a good retake in this situation where they were able to pressure forward and get some kills, get some hills, be able to come back into it a little bit, maybe make it a little bit more interesting later on in the round. But Fire and Ice settling it in with those last few sets of kills. I'm surprised that Toti did not. I'm trying to think of how to word this. I'm surprised that Toti didn't travel over and force that 1v1 at the B hill a little bit earlier. But it might have even saved him simply because of the fact that had he taken that 1v1, there was a big chance that he was going to get 2v1 shortly after that, sitting into it.
Yeah, sometimes timing is everything here. You escape death, sometimes you walk into death, you don't even know it. Just a few seconds of differential. Toti going in, though. Great flash to kind of start it off, and it's saving his life, keeping him alive. They're able to get that positioning across, which makes getting this cap a little bit easier, and it's going to come through 2-1, already racking up points. Like, Dyslexic does go down early on, but nobody from Rebel in position to finish off that elimination except for Identivez, trying to make something happen. Throws that flash, unable to get the stun so he can push up and get any eliminations now with no utility left. Rebel's going to have to think of something here as they try to make the adjustments, the rotations across the map. As you see, that's Crack across on the other side of things, inching closer and closer to a decap possibility.
I like this from Fire and Ice. They're settling in now with the 2-1 hill cap. They're trying to call out where the rotation from the players of Fire and Ice, or excuse me, where Fire and Ice is settling in. They're going to try to call out these rotations from Rebel. Crack with the Boltok in hand, gets a couple of shots there. Beautiful job to extra Lancer in, but Fearzly with the interception right there in the kill. Now it's going to be up to Crack to hold on to his life here, maybe try to fight off this A-hill for just a few more minutes.
That's what I just don't understand. They were so far away, so much to travel. He was going to beat you the punch on the revive. Why not just go for the decap and solidify yourself some positioning? That's really going to cost them in the end. You already see the overextension. It's going deeper than just those eliminations. They get the decap, going and forcing a triple cap domination. Rebel, they go ahead, find some life onto the neutral, trying to get this elimination onto Toti so they can anchor this positioning down. And Toti's doing a good job of staying alive, getting it down onto one, but that's going to be a quick revive to come come through. Rebel's going to be able to hold on to that positioning and kind of anchor it, make it their new home hill for now as they're pushing forward on the other side of the map. If they could get these 2 eliminations, they're going to continue to press forward, get this decap, and then go ahead and try to backtrap to get the spawn. Because at this point in the game call, they need to play perfect. They need a triple neutralization and possibly a team wipe as well.
That is a big kill, though. That kill coming right back around where he got the up A around the vending machine, ends up getting the kill. Kardia is going to get into the hill, trying to go for his neutralizations. Not going to be able to really get anything more than just a decap on it, but the C hill getting capped up as well. This double cap really puts them in a tough position to beat. They get both of those hills. They try to run him off, but that just makes it that much harder because they have to continue to fly. I like the spread. Dyslexic goes into the B hill, gets another decap going. So it makes it that much more difficult for Rebel to get back into this Fire and Ice, bouncing around now. That's going to be Dyslexic going to the backside of the tank. 3 players over here. 1 more hill to go for Fire and Ice. As long as they hold that, they hold the win condition in their hands. See now the snub out in Dyslexic's hands. He's going to get 3v1 here, but that doesn't matter because I believe on the opposite side of the map, 1 kill for Fire and Ice will come through. Give them the breakthrough if need be, but the A hill is not going to be touched. That's going to be another 250-point accumulation win for Fire and Ice.
Fire and Ice seemingly 1 step ahead. I want to say almost the entire time. That's where I want to see Rebel put that weapon down. They won the first map, and we almost can both agree, or at least end up on the same page, that it was Torque Bow. Big plays from the Torque Bow, whether it feels Demon, whether it feels Identivez. There's a big difference maker, being able to stagger out these depths and really take control of the matchup. So I want to see them put an M-bar down, put a Torque Bow down, allow somebody on your team to really take over the game because you have the stats yourself. You're not winning the team fights.
Retros are going to be down. They need to find the opening. I think Rebel has to be a little bit more aggressive in the initial. They've got to find an early win in these fights to try to pressure up.
Talk about an early win. I would think this might be the time to do it. Send 3 over. Take advantage of your extra man, possibly the extra weapon when it comes to that retro. And already that's going to be the first down being picked up. Dyslexic down twice, almost getting Fearzly. He escapes by the hair on his chinny chin. That's going to be the first team to kind of get the decap. Not 2 hills just yet, though. You see on the other side of things, they're going ahead and take control of the spawn point of Rebel. But as soon as somebody from Rebel dies, you're going to see that pressure. You're going to see them try to push forward, knowing it's just a short amount of time before they get spawned onto the backside. Demon goes down. Kardia is being forced out of position. Identivez doing what he can to get the revive. Xploidz is finally looking for that elimination, but he's not able to find it. That could be big for Rebel in this match, especially if they want to push forward and use their numbers to their advantage.
There's a big kill by Xploidz. He's going to try to push up, try to go for that roadie strafe in a second one. 2 hills in favor of Fire and Ice right now, but they are going to push back against the tide. That's going to be 2 players off of the races for Rebel. Rebel trying to get into the area of the B hill. You see Crack going to the backside of the tank now. Trying to mount up over here for anybody he can possibly cross out, anybody he can be able to push up on, but I think they get the call out that there is a 2-man over there. Spread is the forces of Fire and Ice. 2-2 across the map. Flash out by Dyslexic. First shot. Beautiful second shot. Touches just enough over the corner of that box to get the down. I believe they get the finish as well, but that should open up the home hill of Fire and Ice for the side of Rebel to push into it. Fearzly has to find 1 more kill, and then he's going to go down. Toti has rotated over to A and has got the decap there. I mean, I think they're just... Fire and Ice right now is just a little bit quicker than Rebel in this situation.
No, they are. That's what I'm saying. They had to find that elimination on the Toti. They not only let him get the decap, but they let him get out alive. I just hope that they don't forget that he was here at one point or another. They have to have spotted him at this point. Flashes on both sides. Lancer fire over the top. They're trying to get him down and then pick up the elimination later, but the teamwork is there. Xploidz doing what he can, buying some time. Fearzly gets the down onto Crack. It's going to be cleaned up. The second one onto Kardia as they're now winning yet another team fight exchange, and they're going to get rewarded for it with another hill. And that's one thing about Fire and Ice. They're never settling. They're never content. They always want more.
Nice. See Crack trying to push up against Fearzly. Fearzly's going to back up behind that L cover. You see Crack take the box now, trying to look for that little cubby corner that he can shoot onto Toti. Toti's going to back down the stairs now. 2 players mounted up just outside of the stairwell, trying to get Lancer fire up into the top. Fearzly, though, holding the backside of that cover. Beautiful job using it defensively, getting shots on. The up A comes through for Fearzly. They get 1 more kill. Triple cap domination rings through. They will go up 3-0 in this map number 3. They win map number 2. And they're looking to take a 2-1 lead going into the second half of this series.
And I really got to ask you, it's 3-0. We talked about this is going to be a huge swing round. We said it time and time again throughout the Escalation life cycle. But do you think this is a major cause for concern for the side of Rebel? Or do you think they can kind of bounce back? They can win yet another control and force a map number 5?
I think the big thing for them is if you lose here and it's debilitating, you're going to give all that momentum over to Fire and Ice. And we've talked about it a million times before. Momentum's a thing in Gears. You can deflate a team that makes it almost impossible for them to come back in. The M-bar's been placed down now. Big, dangerous team fight about to break out at the tank. Xploidz will be pushing in. They've got 2 players pushing straight up into the heart of the defense of Rebel. Identivez will trade out right now. Toti getting the kill on him after Identivez breaks ice. They have the M-bar. They have positioning over the B hill. They're going to try to get this cap off. Demon needs one more shot. Beautiful back A there onto Dyslexic. Gets the shot to go, and now rotating out. Fire and Ice looking to gain some points early in this one, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for them to really solidify an early advantage in an initial.
Yeah, I don't know either, especially with Fearzly able to kind of create some separation, get the down, stagger it out, and continue to move towards the top side of the map. My only worry is you got 3 players. I wouldn't say barely coming off of 1 spawn because one of them does have that M-bar, but that's going to be a long rotation to come through. But this is how you catch somebody off guard, rotating that M-bar over. Multiple players are spotted out. That smoke was kind of used to kind of push them back, but the same smoke can be used to kind of cloud an aggressive push, especially with so many members of Rebel spotted out. Dyslexic is going to be the first one down. There it goes. Toti saving his life. Revive back up. Hill is going to be broken, and just as Rebel was about to gain the lead, they get stopped dead in their tracks.
Now you see them pushing forward. Kardia is going to be caught on this box between 2 more players of Fire and Ice. Beautiful job to get that kill. They solidify the A hill for themselves. They're going to learn their lesson. They're not going to let him bleed out, crawling over to the hill, possibly get another decap. You see Xploidz trying to make something happen over here at C by himself. The decap at B coming through here momentarily, and Fire and Ice will stand up at the elevated position, trying to get a defensive stand here. Lancers out, stopping them from coming across the free range of that angle and that desert. They're going to still have 2-to-1 hill advantage, and they're about to have their 3rd player back off of respawn. Demon coming up the stairs. He's going to get Lancer out all the way across the map. What an angle by Dyslexic, helping to get the down and damage there onto Demon, and that's going to open up things wide for Fire and Ice to get an easy defensive stand and a retake. And I didn't think we'd see a lot of love lost between these teams, but we did see some love right there.
As long as that phone's shoved far deep into a locker and he's not on Twitter saying, hey, yo, we're up 3-0, about to go up 4-0. How do you guys like me now? It's okay. Go ahead and use your executions. Go ahead and show Rebels who's about. You deserve to. You're up 4-0. You just decimated them last map, and this is your chance to crown yourself kings of Latin America yourself. And that's going to be a big title to kind of give yourself. And honestly, they got into the grand finals in our last major, and they're working to make a grand finals during mid-split playoffs. If Fire and Ice can do it, hey, I'll be proud to crown them the new kings.
Hey, you want to have Murray mic'd up for that moment, don't you?
Murray, Zonners, Souls, the entire Fire and Ice crew. Where's the CMG crew when you need them?
Probably somewhere trying to think of the next business venture. I'll never forget when they came out with My Huevos, by the way. I will never, ever forget that. I don't know which one of them it was that owned My Huevos, but it made me the happiest human on the planet to have to promo that. We do have a disconnect though. Somebody from Rebel has bounced out of the game on us right now. Identivez crack Demon. Come on, Kardia. Come on, man.
Do you think this, with this 4-0 lead, do you think this helps Rebel at all? Any little bit?
No.
Not even an inch?
No, because the first round, Fire and Ice still had Fire and Ice had momentum. They've won 4 straight rounds in this. They have the momentum in this still. I don't see why a break kills your momentum when Fire and Ice started map 2 down, garnered a whole bunch of easy kills in that one, and then continued to go forward.
I mean, I agree with you. I just wanted to know. I honestly think, you know, the only thing right now that I'm just kind of hoping is Rebel just not arguing. You still got another possible 2 maps. You did win that first control, so it's not over just yet, especially since it is Regency. If Rebel plays their card right, play very, very similar to how they did in Reactor, get the M bars similar to how they got the torque bow. They did get frag grenades as well, and you can control the shock grenade. You continue to stagger the deaths, keep them at at least 3 players alive. Don't let them spawn up as 4. Control the spot. They can get back into this one. We can see a Canals tiebreaker map. I definitely wouldn't be surprised, but with this type of beatdown we got going on, what about you? What do you think?
I think it's really cute that Reflections is in the lead for a couple of predictions titles, and now he's the head analyst. If it's Regency, then this could go map 5. Look at this man. This man out here in chat giving us in-depth analysis. I wonder if he's scratching that beautiful chat. Sometimes you gotta pick on people. Why are they beating him like that? Oh, finger pistols. Show me your best emote.
Demon! Identivez!
Help you, man. They're on their side of the map. They're on their side of the map. They didn't even come out, man. They didn't come out. There we go. Kardia's already back in the game. Look at that. Good way to be prompt. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Thank God it wasn't my main man, Toti, that lagged out, because he'd have gone to the bathroom. He'd have run down the street. He'd have gone for a drive.
About to the shop right quick. Give me 5.
Toti would have probably gone and visit some friends that he knew back in Kentucky. I don't even know why he'd go. I don't even know why he'd have friends in Kentucky. I don't think that's anywhere near anywhere he's ever lived.
Close?
I think he'd have just found somebody and be like, I gotta go to Kentucky right quick. I'll be right back.
Hey, Toti, he was at least moving around at the very end. He was at least moving around, so we know he's here. 10 and 10 up until this point, doing a good job. Trying to see the stat line right now. Fire nice in the slaying department, and honestly, you would kind of guess that with the score line. 4-0, dominate lead, Rebel. I feel like you have nothing to lose on the side of Rebel. You're almost banking on a map number 4 to force a game number 5. Get as aggressive as you want. You already see multiple players rotating over. Just do anything that you want at this point.
M-bar shot out from Identivez doesn't get the first kill there, but does get the second there onto Toti. Beautiful job. These are the kind of kills that Rebel needs. I don't necessarily think it was the break that they needed. I think they needed somebody to start popping off. When they couldn't win the M-bar and they couldn't get kills into the initial, it actually forced them into a situation where they were just having to play against the whole might of Fire and Ice. But they win the initial. They're pressuring up onto the home hill now of Fire and Ice. They're getting a couple of kills. The meat shield comes through. And that should be the round. Fearzly might have a chance to touch with the up A, but he gets shut down by Crack. Another decap comes through, but nobody's going to come off a spawn in time. The first round of the map goes over to Rebel after 4 attempts. Can they win 4 straight to take a 2-1 lead?
Maybe. Maybe not as well. That's why we're going to go ahead and call the action so we can find out together. But that's why I want to see Rebel round after round. No matter what you're doing, just make sure you go down and fight. Make sure you go down doing exactly what you want to do. Fight on your terms, win or lose. That's how I want to see them get aggressive. If you're not going to send 4 players over to the M-bar, maybe you put something low, something small towards that neutral hill. That way, if your player does come out on top, I do believe it might be Demon playing that positioning, he's going to be rewarded with something. Why not give him retro, right?
Trying to take a look here. You're on the good spawn now for Fire and Ice. This is going to be the hard round for them to win. Every other round now for Rebel is going to be a tough one to win simply because they don't have the positioning to just win that M-bar the same way that they did last time. And we saw they were able to get a lot of early momentum because of Identiv's first few shots. This time Xploidz has the M-bar. And now Xploidz is going to rotate around looking for anybody he can pick up or pick off. Fire and Ice stacks up over toward the E-hill. Maybe going for a little cap over there. It's going to be a 2v2 mounted up. Dyslexic is full red. Here comes a flash. Fearzly's going to push up. Beautiful back A over the top of that cover. Gets the down. Kardia, though, after the revive, shuts another one down and now is going to leave his teammate in a 2v1. Dyslexic is going to go down. Demon and Rebel are off to the races yet again to try to get this triple cap domination.
Connects with a shot on the Crack. He's gonna make him second guess if he peeks. Going for that triple cap domination, like you said. They barely get the decap, but they're gonna have to press in for more. But they're getting run through in their spawn. 2 in a row, Rebel win, both under a minute. And now they go back to their good side as well. And this is where I ask you, do you kind of let these ones slip through? Are you concerned if you're Fire and Ice, or do you just kind of like stop playing with your food and close it out here?
I don't even know they're playing with their food. It's more just Rebel right now has gotten a lot of early kills, and they're starting to kind of feel themselves, starting to get that same kind of swagger they had when they're up A and people. They're getting those team revives off. The Wolfpack for them has been pretty strong these last 2 rounds. Whether or not they can get this next round under their belt is yet to be seen. I'd like to see Fire and Ice try to really put their eggs in the M-Bar basket. I want to see them try to stop the initial pick on the M-Bar by Identivez. Whatever they can do to try to keep that from happening, because that's what happened 2 rounds ago. Last round was simply just a bad play by Dyslexic. I think when he throws that flash, it's I don't want to say too early. It's not in time really to save his teammate who pushes up on that corner cover. He might have gotten the down, but it didn't get any real stuns to stop them from firing back. So I really think that this should get stalemated out. If Dyslexic can get this early cap on the E hill, that would be very interesting because it puts them in a better position, but he's going to get tagged up just enough by Demon. That's a very interesting 1v1 on the opposite side of the map. Demon is getting pressed now, throws his flash back, gets down from the corner. Beautiful shot there by Dyslexic, and now Dyslexic will open things up.
I love it. He's going for a straight flank right out of the gate. Fire and Ice are backing up. They're trying to stay alive, but this one was sniffed out from a while away. Might as well call Rebel the Bloodhounds because they're making sure to keep each other on their toes. Crack takes a bit of damage. He gets back out of oblivion. Dyslexic with that flank is going to be crucial. Goes for number 2 and ill-advised up A. Taken out by Demon, but the damage has definitely been done. Fire and Ice are swarming all over that home hill, making sure that they keep the 2-1. They're getting into the spawn, staggering out these deaths, and they have another opportunity to do it here on towards Kardia. He gets that down onto Xploidz. Quick revive gonna pick him up. Fearzly going deep into the spawn, a trade coming out as Crack gets the last lap. Triple cap domination. All they need is a break, and that's gonna get denied. What? That's gonna get denied too. Fire and Ice, they close it out on the back of Toti, and 2 of the most amazing N-bar shots I have seen today.
And right now, Fire and Ice have got to be feeling good. They win 4 in a row. They might have given up 2 right there in the middle of that. But they come back, they roar back, they get 1 more round under their belt, and they are now in the lead of this series. Something they did not feel after map 1. They had to fight back and tie it up after map 2. We go to Control now, which is going to be an interesting setup for Fire and Ice. Because I think with that earlier loss on Control, because Rebel had that last-ditch effort, that last push into that final hill, it can only go up for them if they can win 1, maybe 2 more team fights. Because as I scored it in that first one, 8-8, and it comes down to 22 points, they win 1 more team fight, that very easily flips into their favor by 30 or 40. So we really got to see if they can answer back going into Regency. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and let you know. I had it scored out. Everybody won the rounds that they ended up winning the initial on. Nobody really had a massive retake, and nobody had a massive collapse. That was a little bit of a Mr. Krabs, but it was off the back of nobody really getting overwhelmed and not a lot of kills. So Rebel's still struggling, even if they go on in this tournament. The thing that worries me about them is they don't have good retake ability. They haven't proved it in Execution. They don't prove it in Escalation. That's what worries me for them going forward in this tournament, if they can beat Fire and Ice right here, right now. But they got to win 2 straight maps to be able to do that.
No, I feel like you're kind of hitting the nail onto the head, especially when you break down the statistics. That extra bonus this event, Colin, man, spicy meatball. I love it down to perfection. You're really seeing who's affecting the tides, not only as an individual, as you can see it as we call the action, but overall as a team when it comes down to your scorecards. I feel like I'm watching UFC just a little bit early here as the action is being called. So I'm going to be looking at Rebel here into this match. They did a very, very good job being able to control the map number 1, which is Control, no pun intended, on the Reactor. They controlled the power weapons. Maps number 2, maps number 3, round-based game modes where every single round was kind of refreshed. They weren't able to really get an extra bit of footing. They weren't able to kind of anchor themselves down and build that momentum on towards their side. I do think Regency Control is going to be a must-win for them. I mean, like, no dirt, of course, in map number 5, but they have to be aggressive. They have to start it off similar to they did on Reactor, and it is going to come through with their power weapon play. If Identivez or somebody doesn't go off with the M-bar, with the frags, I do believe that this is a standard fight. Fire and Ice will close this one out 3-1. So I'm going to be looking at whoever, Identivez, Demon, Crack, whoever it is, Kardia, on the side of Rebel to control these power weapons and really shut down this Fire and Ice squad. Do not allow them to heat up, because we've seen what they could do over these past 2 maps. Once they get rolling, they start steamrolling the competition.
Without a doubt. And now what I'm going to be curious about is we go into this next map, this next round. We've seen that both of these teams excel with an M-bar. Both of these teams have a fantastic power weapon player on it. We are going to Regency. Is there going to be a lot of attention paid to that M bar up top, and is it going to dominate the conversation more when this map is over with?
I do think it's going to be not so much attention paid, but the way this map works is, yeah, you got that initial fight where players kind of fight over the end bar, but getting those spawns and because of how deep and far away they are from the actual end bar and the rotations, you can only really get it if you're kind of rotating towards the hill on the next rotation, or you're rotating trying to retake it, then when you kind of have those frag grenades, or unless you're kind of floating around watching that timer. So I don't think it's going to be so much as controlling the timer as much as just effective use of those power weapons when you do have them in your hand. And if you go ahead and use them effectively, you begin to stagger out the deaths, and that ups the possibility, ups the chances of you maintaining and controlling those weapons overall.
Okay, I understand that. I also think that one of the things that we really need to pay attention to, I think now, no, this is the last map of the middle three. So this is Fire and Ice's map pick. So Fire and Ice will be playing Swarm yet again. So Fire and Ice will have the, if I remember correctly on the spawns, Fire and Ice will have the right hand going into the original hill. That'll be a very disconcerting point for me because I'd like to see if Fire and Ice goes for the hill, goes for the early points, and they give up the power weapons. I don't want to say give up, but they don't put as much emphasis, whereas earlier, we saw Oxygen. They took their troops right to the pill. They took them straight down. When we thought Oxygen might overload the nades and the frags up top, they took them straight to the bottom of the hill. They tried to match shot for shot, blow for blow down at the bottom. This will be interesting to me to see as well, though, because, again, if you're Fire and Ice, do you really want to give Identivez a chance to get that M bar early? Because we saw what he did in the round that he got to quick pick it earlier. And do you not want to have it in the hands of somebody like Xploidz in case you win that hill and now you get to play a little bit of defense? And that man can really shut down those defensive retakes. I mean, a body shot here, a couple of Lancer bullets, and then an active over there gets a kill. It's one of those situations where I really think that's going to be the big talking point for me, is the initial and then how much attention is paid throughout this map to that M bar, because we know both of these teams are very proficient with it. Yep. It's going to remind me a lot of Avexy's and his M bar play with Rise and E United. Rise earlier really did a fantastic job of getting the M bar in Avexy's hands and letting him dictate the pace, dictate the rotations. I think both of these teams need to take a page out of that playbook.
Now, I definitely do think that that's going to be a big role, and you can't get lost in the sauce over that M bar because there's going to be big opportunities for not only the shock grenade to create separation. You're not going to really obviously get a kill with the shock grenade, but you can go ahead and block off full avenues. You force players back, force them into uncomfortable situations, but those frag grenades as well. If you got to find yourself in a situation where both of those are kind of picked up off the spawn, you need to make sure you go ahead and have that timer. If you know their M bar is going to be up, you know those frags are going to be up, but you just have to be aware of not only when you have those weapons, but if your opponent's having those weapons as well. You saw it in that last one. I do believe it was Identivez at a particular moment in that match was spotting out that N-bar player. It wasn't so much the damage that he was putting on him, but the information, not letting that N-bar player kind of go unnoticed, not let him make any sneaky plays, not let him kind of get lost in the sauce to where he revs up the M bar and gets like a quick early kill because nobody knew he was there. That information is literally going to be crucial, and especially on a map like Regency, to where typically when you do pick it up, it is towards those long hallways towards the top. You don't normally have an opportunity to hide that M bar around.
And that is going to be very interesting to see how they go forth in this map. We're waiting for the players to get into their correct spawn spot so that we can roll out a spawn on this one, load it up. I know all of you were chomping at the bit to get into map number 4 between Rebel and Fire and Ice just as much as we are. I'm going to go ahead and say it, though. I think one of the alarming things for me still for Rebel is the fact that Rebel has such a hard time retaking, except in control. And yeah, you can win 2 maps out of every series you go into. If you can somehow pull out both controls, that's fantastic. But that worries me for their escalations. That worries me for their executions if they don't get first blood, so on and so forth. The interesting thing to me in this map, though, is how much wider it is. Reactor is so much more CQC, so much more enclosed, short hallways, tight hallways, that you get a chance for a lot of those big team fights. You get a chance for a lot of those back and forth. I scored it at 8-8 in map 1. This map is so huge. I don't know how many team fights we're really going to get, or we're going to get a lot more. I'm going to try to pick you off in the middle hallway. I'm going to try to get into a position to try to get one flank kill here or one flank kill there to take over the close respawn, because I think that's another point of contention that can't be forgotten about Regency, is that it's so big, so massive that if you close the spawns off, I mean, that it just becomes hell's half acre to get across.
Yeah, and I like the way you pointed that out because you talked about it. It was Rebel who is only really Control where they would kind of convincingly have a retake opportunity that was successful. And you take note of how wide open this map is. It's going to make their retake that much harder. So that's why I put, like I said, the importance onto the M bar, onto those power weapons. It's not going to be easy. You've seen how many times they faltered trying to make things happen on checkout. You saw it again on Vasca. They're letting so many opportunities slip through their fingers. So many mismatch plays come through. So it's going to come down to me, like I said, that power weapon control. When it comes to the respawns, you are able to sacrifice maybe a couple seconds to gain the new hill, but then you have to like solidify that hill if it does come to it. On the side of Fire and Ice, though, they're going to be running wild. Dyslexic, Toti, they're going to get in your face time and time again. They know how to block that back spawn, and as well as Fire and Ice is one of those teams, they do it a little bit more than Rebel. Instead of attacking the hill straight up, they attack that spawn point first, which makes it a little bit easier. Once you go ahead and get that spawn point, you attack the hill afterwards, the likelihood of you spawning right back down low if a player does get eliminated is going to be much higher than your opponent. So take note of that as well between Rebel and Fire and Ice, because Fire and Ice, they love to attack those spawn points.
I also would like to see, or I don't want to say like to see, I think something else we need to keep note of and keep our eyeballs out for is something that I think Fire and Ice has really been proficient with in the past. And I know a lot of people hate this style of gameplay, but I think it really works well for Fire and Ice. They've done it a lot. Fire and Ice has found a way to kind of turn Xploidz into James Bond. There's a lot of times in Control where Fire and Ice gets the initial hill capture. They set up 2 or 3 around the hill with one guy in it. They set up 2 around the hill, one guy in it. And then they have Xploidz playing like in the middle of Narnia, just waiting for somebody to run by him, gets that sneak kill, and then you see the other 3 players just panic. And I've seen it happen so many times. I've seen it happen when we've done map test trials. I've seen it in Pro League where Xploidz finds a way to sneak 1 kill and then ends up sending the rest of the team into disarray so that they were able to easily pick off the rest of the players.
No, I do think that's going to be a good thing to note of, because on the side of Rebel, I think right now the biggest thing, and I keep saying the biggest thing, is just so many different weaknesses, so many pros, so many cons. Yeah, this is like a ever-evolving organism that's really going down. But I think a weakness that they do have is they let a lot of their teamwork, a lot of the basics kind of slip through their fingers, checking your corners, making sure that nobody's sneaking around, nobody's hiding around those corners. Like you said, Xploidz kind of finds those opportunities to kind of get those eliminations. And I think it is going to be very, very crucial that Rebel doesn't get snuck. They don't let those opportunities go through, because this is a big map. If you get stuck, it's either going to make you fight in a 3v4 manner to where you're at a huge disadvantage, or you're going to have to wait crucial time, making sure your member does come back off of respawn, and then you have to take another retake attempt. And by then, there's possibly maybe 40, 30 seconds left on the hill, and then you begin to have those doubts in your head. Is this even worth it at that point?
You know what I'm having doubts in my head about right now, Jacob?
I think I'm on the same page, but go ahead, lay it on me.
If they'll ever start this match for us, because it's not up to me.
So you're telling us it's not our fault?
It's I'm telling you, I'm making that big fake button, brother. I can't reach it. I have Uno cards in that direction, and I was gonna grab the Uno cards and just have like a reverse card and be like, you thought we was gonna start it? Nope.
Welcome back to the Colin and PR podcast. And this is where we talk about everything Gears of War mid-split payoff related.
Can I tell you a fun fact? Can I tell you a fun fact about Regency, though? So when you see the fly-through that we do, you can actually see it, and you can only see it, I think, if you ghost cam. You could look at it, but you get a bad angle of it. When you see the fly-through of Regency, there's a stained glass window that's actually the same color scheme, and I think it's where they got the color scheme for the high T skin set that's my favorite weapon skin set in the game. It's a stupid thing, but I think it's where they got that color scheme from. Demon's going to get first pick on the M bar. He's going to be challenged back here at the T. Down low, though, first kill goes over toward the side of Fire and Ice, and they're going to get these initial points, and they're going to get these initial kills. I wonder if they're going to try to push up and help get a kill here on Demon. Demon's still just fighting off as much as he can. He's going to get that down. He's going to have the M bar, and he's going to be able to start putting shots out. Beautiful body shot. Wow. Doesn't get the kill, but I think Toti has to sit down for just a hot minute.
You see, both teams kind of have very, very similar strategies in terms of 2 down low, 1 in the middle, 1 up top. Demon immediately lining up another one onto Toti. First one was only damage. Second one is going to be the elimination. Xploidz gets taken out as well. And I said it. during this map. It's going to be a must-win for Rebel. Controlling the power weapons, and not only controlling them, but efficient usage is going to be the key, as already Demon lands 2 shots. One of them is going to be a big elimination. They're getting together the rest of this hill time while trying to rotate up top towards the next, where you already see Fire and Ice with a complete rotation. And this is where it's not Xploidz this time around, but it's Fearzly trying to be a sneaky player.
Coming up this next hill, I actually like the positioning of Crack right here with that M bar in hand. Excuse me. Yeah, Crack is back here with that corner, because if they don't know he's there, Crack has a little free run at that window, but I think they got the call out on him. This is where they don't have a smoke yet, I don't think. So nobody has a smoke out. Fearzly's going to get double shot up by the M bar of Demon. Beautiful first kill there. This is another big team fight going down here. 3 players left for Rebel, or for Fire and Ice inside of the hill. Rebel going for the retake. Another down. 2 downs come through. Not going to be able to clean either one of them up. Identivez trying to roadie strafe and get the revives off. They finally come away with the kill. Still knotted up here. But the last player for Fire and Ice comes back into the fight now, back off of respawn, which will pretty much win them this initial yet again on this hill. They're going to continue to garner up the points in it.
Revive me!
I was about to say, Demon narrowly surviving. Just a few M-bar shots left. He gets taken out. Trade coming through. Fearzly falls as well. Reaction shot for the Aegis. Double kill. Back-to-back for Identivez. Kardia's going to get that one on Dyslexic. Toti's going to be the last man alive on this side of the map. He's going to fall. Death going to be staggered out. 40 points up for grabs for Rebel. That's going to be enough to gain the lead, but this is what I was talking about. It's more so on rotation. You see these weapons being picked up. Both the N-bar and the frag grenades going to be in the hands of Fire and Ice. And I talk about that moment. You go for the 30 seconds. You set it for next. You see with these fire weapons, they're going to go ahead and set up and try to get the lion's share of 75 seconds off the new hill.
Still basically tied up here, 50-48. Nobody getting those last 16 seconds. They're trying to rotate over. Xploidz with the M-bar in hand, waiting for somebody to pop their head up. Not going to be able to catch any of those shoulder blades, trying to come up over the cover. Still is missing. 2 shots left in that M-bar. Crack bouncing around. Beautiful kills there as they approach them heavily. Finish them both off. Fire and Ice will lose 1 player in the middle, and it looks like Fire and Ice is going to set up to try to stop them from getting this spawn point. Xploidz needs to have the verticality to stop Kardia coming out of that door if Kardia chooses to. He's trying to mark both of those players going through the middle of the map. This is going to be pretty interesting if you ask me, because now you're going to see a little bit of a split push come from Rebel. They're going to split their forces, 2 up top, 2 in the mid. Any kills for Rebel are going to be huge for them. Fire and Ice, any downs will really slow down this retake. And they're going to leave 1 player inside of the hill, continuing to just garner up points, taking the wide angle, trying to get these down, trying to find the 90-degree here. First kill comes through, though, for Rebel. This is a beautiful job thus far, trying to fight back into this situation. And a second down comes through.
Almost goes the up A. Almost gets that elimination on the Dyslexic. He finds it in the end, and that's going to be important. I said it was Fire and Ice who always attacks the neutral. Rebel stealing that one away. They get the spawn point towards the top half of the map. They get the hill as well. 40 points left on it, and they only need 20 to tie this game up. Anything more is going to be in the lead. He gets 1. Fearzly going through. He gets 2 back-to-back kills. That's going to be a window of opportunity that his team needs. But there's only going to be Toti there, taking advantage of said opportunity as he's backing up Kardia, forcing him even farther back while his teammates now make an appearance, but towards the top half of the map. You see it. Identivez waiting for that new M-bar. Frag grenade's got to be up as well. 2v3 opportunity for Fire and Ice to try and take advantage of. 1 player's going to go down, though. Dyslexic getting taken out by Demon. 2v2 is going to continue because of that shot grenade. Dyslexic was unable to get help needed from Xploidz, and both of those players will fall in the end. And they got that N-bar early on, like I said, from Identivez.
Beautiful job there by Rebel. They solidified the last few points on that hill. That'll get them to win 10 or 15 points again. Fearzly at the backside of the hill. I would have loved to see them get 1 other player in the hill. Thankfully, Fearzly did get that first shot off on Identivez. I was going to say, get somebody else in the hill so Fearzly's position is not revealed for the simple fact that it caps as soon as it spawns there. Beautiful shot by Identivez. 4 more rounds. He's got 2 of them active. He's going to go down for the 3rd time. M-bar's on the ground. M-bar's on the ground. Will somebody find it? Kardia with a quick pick on it. Oh, God, that got really tight for fans of Rebel and Identivez there for a moment after he goes down for the 3rd time and is taken out. Looks like Rebel's actually going to rotate all the way across the map. They're going to go for a split push here, another pinch push. down by 40 points at this, and every second wasted trying to get in a position for this is going to make it that much harder later in this game if they can't come away with these big kills. First frag out, won't find anybody. That's just going to be some damage and split these two players up. Beautiful body shot. Second shot for Toti comes out, gets the kill, traded out. Still up at the hill though. One last player for Rebel in the area gets taken on and taken down. 30 points left in this, could get them to 150 to 70 and really double up the score line of Rebel and make it almost impossible for them to really solidify a good position over this next hill. It's good. They're going to have to rotate early. They're going to have to start doing the things that you're finding yourself in pressure situations doing. Great shot holding capability by Identivez, by the way.
Ooh, 2 back-to-back. Yet again, a few multi-kills already for Identivez. They're going to deny Xploidz anything, but they still got more to do. They need to go ahead and solidify this spawn point, and it starts with that elimination onto Fearzly as Rebel once again secures it. But Dyslexic, he's trying to find a 1v1. That was the moment of opportunity, but Identivez quickly shuts him down. They're going to get the shot grenade in the hands of Crack as well. And this is where you're going to see Fire and Ice extend towards the top half of the map, and I would think try to attack for that neutral, especially knowing that that shot grenade was picked up. It's going to be an easy denial off the hill, especially funneling into one of those two pathways if they try to retake.
Demon up top on the stairwell. Love the little pistol out by him, getting that extra down. Toti, oh my goodness, catches him as he slides back into the cover. Doesn't get in there in time safely. Gets his head taken clean off. Flashes out by everybody and a grandmama to try to get into this hill. Beautiful neutralization. Crack up top. Gets taken out over the bush. Toti, 2 shots, 2 kills. Tried to find a third. Won't be able to get it. You can see Fire and Ice pressing a little bit onto that player at the bottom of the stairs. Will get that kill finally and will force them out of this hill. 20 points left, makes it 180 to 100. Continuing to mount that points up to the 200 marker. Continuing to get into a position where it's that much harder for them to come back into this one.
I think we both made the point that the difference between this map and I do believe it was Reactor is the amount of space that you have to travel through in order to get to these hills. And we talked about the many failed retake attempts coming through from Rebel. The defenses, and there goes Toti yet again, lighting up his opponents with that end bar. Tries to get another one, only one more shot into the chamber. They get the spawn point towards the bottom. That's going to be key because you see this elimination that's going to be picked up onto Fearzly here in just a short moment. If they're able to hold on to that spawn point, that's where he's really going to be a threat into the side of Rebel and Demon. But Demon doesn't want to let this one go free. Kardia is fighting for the positioning at the top. There goes one elimination being picked up. Dyslexic forced back. That spawn point is going to come through for Rebel. Identivez spawns there. They can sandwich the remaining players into the spawn. Dyslexic has to feel the pressure. The Lancer shots from far away. He gets taken out. You got to think Toti is dead to rights here. In just a moment, he gets taken out. Just like I said, 2 members left for Fire and Ice. The death's beginning to be staggered. This is exactly what Rebel needs to do and continue to need to do as well. Because 50 seconds left, that's going to put them around 160. They're not going to take the lead off of this hill, so they need to figure out a way to continuously put themselves in this position.
Xploidz trying to look across the map here. Every one of these points gets them that much closer back into this. Rebel has now officially really played great defense on this hill twice on this initial. Xploidz trying to get shots in with the M-bar. They're bringing the M-bar up into the fight. Big kill, first kill comes out. Xploidz now trying to hunt down Identivez. Beautiful little shot there around the cubby. Demon held in the backside of the spawn. Is going to try to find anybody he can to get a kill on. Full red, trying to roadie strafe into Xploidz with the M-bar on his back. Won't be able to get it. And a little bit of a Batista bomb, ladies and gentlemen, with a blood spray of Fire and Ice. Not down yet for the 3 count, but with the championship belt on the line, finishers like that will get you one step closer.
Goes the frag, trying to catch Dyslexic slipping. Identivez trying to be the back of the knees. Kardia took a ton of damage already. Both of these players are getting flanked. The down's going to come through, but the cleanup from Fearzly. 2 kills, and he gets to spotted out another target Xploidz with just 1 shot left. That's going to connect on the Crack. Fire and Ice are beginning to stagger out these deaths. They're beginning to funnel these players of Rebel back and commanding control over this hill. Yet again, Identivez caught out alone. Almost gets chainsawed. Turns, gets the elimination on to Dyslexic, but Toti, everywhere you want him to be, gets that down onto Identivez. And they're again being staggered out. There hasn't been a moment in about a minute or even more that Rebel has been 4 up, trying to make a great confident retake play.
40 seconds left on this one. Gets them to 270 if they can't get it to the hill and start getting a neutralization. Xploidz with the snub out, trying to get a lot of damage to come through. They haven't gotten the down just yet. They're trying to wrap to the backside of the Rose Garden. Fearzly rotates in, shuts down that first player. Beautiful up A right there from Xploidz. Gets the second player. Now the revive comes through. Shot on and taken down. 30 more seconds. Keeps them at the 276 mark, making it 24 points for a 3-1 victory over Rebel. Demon falls, is cleaned up. Dyslexic rotating to the middle of the map, trying to find an angle here on Identivez. The respawns across the map. That is bad news, Bears. I stay there. If I'm player 5, keep the hill ticking down as quickly as possible. You've got the spawn advantage over there. You've got the positioning for the next hill, and you're fighting over the M-bar. They are nowhere near Sam's Acre to get into this next hill, and you're up over 270. You got 29 seconds to go. This is a bad situation for Rebel. They've got to win every fight from here on out.
I will say the silver lining, after all those eliminations are said and done, Fire Nice get the low spawn point, immediately are back up, threatening this hill, so Rebel, they're not going to get too much time off of this one before they are threatened, before they're forced to defensively. One shot being fired off. Identivez connects with a load of damage from that M-bar. Xploidz goes down, but a trade coming through. Kardia and Dyslexic both get taken out. Crack falls. The man advantage goes on over to Fire Nice. Identivez being forced out of the hill. 25 seconds remain. Identivez falls. There goes the M-bar, and there goes the command and control on the hill itself from Fire Nice. The spawn point goes to Rebel. They have to play this one perfect. They have to get these eliminations. Demon gets the down onto Fearzly over the top of the cover. Cleanup coming through. They're forcing Xploidz out. 16 seconds remain.
Long wrap trying to come out from Demon's. Not going to find Xploidz just yet. You see Fire and Ice spread out just a little bit. Xploidz on his third down and out. Will win Rebel the rest of this hill and whatever points they have left on it. 16 seconds to go. Dyslexic is hiding at the bottom, trying to make sure anybody that comes off of the hill, trying to come through the bottom of the map, will get them a kill. They get a kill. They get a mark out. They almost get a kill there, but Identivez goes down. Crack versus Toti, 1v1 over the initial this next hill. 9 seconds to go. Flash out. Crack with the Lancer in hand. He's going to get some help over the top from Kardia. Kardia coming down the verticality of that hill. A down comes through onto Crack. Now Fearzly will take over that position. The hill is about to spawn down there. Just 2 seconds to go as nobody's on the hill. It takes a little longer for it to count down. So you've got to be careful not to get taken out here. They are mounted up. Smokes out. Flash in the front of the hill. Here comes one nade. Doesn't find anybody. Second nade still being held in the hand of Toti. I believe if he throws it a little bit long, he could find the kill. It's long. It finds one. 3 left alive. 2 left alive. One more player on the right-hand side gets shut down. It's all up to Kardia to keep it neutral. 3 versus 1. Can he get it done? He gets down. Out. 3-1. Fire and Ice send Rebel home, and they move on in our mid-split playoff.
After faltering in map number 1, you got to give it up to Fire and Ice, holding focus on the prize, the big name, the overall picture to take the series, and it came through 3 straight map picks from Fire and Ice, and it was 3 dominating map victories to come through, and this is where you start to build that momentum, you start to build that confidence. It started with taking out the defending champions in E United. Your losers bracket run continues by taking out Rebel. Let's see how far you can take this.
What a beautiful map. And Jacob, if you really want to know the tale of the tape for that second control map, that Regency, 8-8 in the first one, 20-point differential.
Okay.
A little bit bigger than 20 points in that differential. I believe Fire and Ice won at 300 to, I think, 180 to 190 or so, give or take a few points there. 9-5 is what I scored it. Fire and Ice won 9 big team fights. That's 4-fight differential. Instead of being even and having it being 1 kill here, 1 kill there that makes up those 20 points, it's damn near a 100-point club matchup. And next thing you know, it's a 4 big team fight differential. We didn't have as many team fights. We went down from 16 to 14, but I mean, that's still a big differential for Fire and Ice to keep coming away with those kind of shutdowns, those kinds of retakes. That's huge, and that's what you get those wins for.
Yeah, and even though they did win that map number 1 on Reactor, our cause for concern, it was correct. Regency, even though it is played kind of very, very similar with the 4 corner hills, it's so wide open. You need an immense amount of teamwork, whether you're traveling through the map, trying to go for retake, on point with the Lancers, and you can already see it. The tail of the tape comes through. Fire and Ice's teamwork is just on another level right now. So if they get an opportunity at a rematch against Hive, which I do think they're going to, as long as they continue their losers bracket run, they might have something else to say about that early loss they took in the winner side of things.
There you go, Jacob. Map 1, 8-8. It was a 26-point differential. Map 4 was 300 to 176. It was 124 differential, and that's what 4 big defensive stands or big team fight wins will get you for a team like Fire and Ice.